Welcome back. We're looking at Nigeria's inflation trend and other matters. Our guest is Dr. Muda Yusuf, CEO, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises. Now, just before we went on break, the caller, the evangelist who called in, he was quite irritated, as you saw, as you heard in the end, when he said, all of this is rubbish. We're not benefiting anything from this. And when he says we're not benefiting, I'm sure he's talking about the citizenry. You know.
Yeah, he has a point, and his agitation or his whatever it is, I think, it's not out of place.
It was understandable.
Yes, because if you look at the structure of the process so far, there are multiple pressures on the citizens. There's pressure from the exchange rate side. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There is pressure on the energy side. I'm talking of fuel. There is pressure on the electricity side.
Yes.
There is pressure on the interest rate side. There is pressure on the cost of importation side. You can see the multiple pressure.
Yes, I can.
So that is why there is so much complaints.
And even, well, did you mention it? Businesses, you can't borrow money to do business.
Yes, that is why I talk about interest rates.
Yes, yes.
So when you have this multiple pressure and nothing is compensating, and the irony is that some of this pressure that are being exerted on the citizens is translating to more revenue. But the problem is that when the revenue gets there,
yeah, what happens?
Does it come back?
Do they see it?
Does it come back to mitigate?
Do they see soccer in a place where there had been tightness before now?
Exactly.
The answer is no.
That is the problem.
And I think that's where...
And that is what we need to interrogate.
And that's why I think you said at the very beginning, and somebody immediately picked up on that, when you said the president means well. But meaning well is one thing. Keeping an eye on things and to see... Are my ideas being interpreted? Are they being executed?
Exactly.
Is it working the way we planned?
Exactly. Those things are important. Impact analysis is also important. Because, yes, you can announce a policy. What is the feedback? Direct feedback from the citizens. What can we do better to improve, the situation? I think those things are important. And we also need to have a process through which we give concessions at different levels of these policies. If you have this exchange rate, being floated and all of that, we should give concession in the area of tax.
Yeah, but government is not going that way at all.
Yes, that is. If you do that,
they're still as bullish on taxes.
Yes. If you do that, you still get people to retain money in their own pockets.
Yeah.
Because the money in their pockets, they know how better to use it than to give the money to government, that government should use it to help them. The same thing with, I keep talking about tariffs. Tariffs is too high. I mean, look at, for instance now, let's say an average middle class person that wants to buy a second-hand, let's say Toyota Corolla. Second-hand, maybe 2014 or 2015.
Yes.
You are talking about close to 20 million.
I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? That's ridiculous.
You are talking of used cars, 2015, 2014, 2013 model. And part of the component of this cost is the high import duty. It's a problem. If you cannot tamper, I'm not saying you go and tamper with the key planks of the reform or the key reform pillars, which is forex reform, fuel subsidy reform. But you can tamper with these tariffs.
That's the social aspect that you were talking about.
I mean, why should somebody be paying almost 40% or 50% to be able to clear a vehicle?
Well,
and you have all these young boys who also they don't have jobs. They don't mind going to this Uber business or Bolt, But how can they gather 20 million or 15 million? So these are policy things that we can tweak very easily. And we can replicate that across so many sectors.
You know,
including industrial raw materials and all of that.
Well, I'm so happy that this is coming from as knowledgeable a person as your good self, Dr. Yusuf, because oftentimes when people talk, when the ordinary people talk, they say, you don't know the whole parameters. It's not as simple. But you see, what you're saying is that even you boffins, are trained to understand how we find ourselves in this situation. Is there nobody on the lighthouse watching, scanning the environment, seeing the effect it has? Because the next time the president is going to come and speak to us, he's going to talk to us again about patience. He's going to talk to us about patience because he has done that before on more than one occasion. That, look, I understand, I feel your pain, I know your pain, we are working night and day. But unfortunately, that kind of a thing needs to be periodically backed up with the kind of thing we're talking about where people see one example of it is what you've just explained, money in their own pocket.
Yes.
Money in their own pocket because government has cut them some slack.
Exactly.
Government has done a lot of things, Dr. Yusuf. I don't think that is the argument at all. It has done a lot of things, to the educational loan, all of those ones.
A lot of things have been done.
A lot of things have been done.
But a lot more still needs to be done.
Need to be done. And as you explained it.
And my take in this is that the government should trade off some revenue in all of this. If the revenue impact of Forex is very positive. In fact, when you look at the FAC allocation, there are some months where the Forex revenue to government is higher than the revenue from VAT. That is significant. Sometimes about 500 billion in a month. Sometimes as high as 600 billion.
Well,
so if this is being taken out because of what you can term as existing subsidy in Forex environment, which those who are round trippers have lost, but the citizens too have also given up some of those things. So if you have that, then let us look at tariffs. So, okay, these tariffs we are collecting from the citizens, from businesses, what can we give back to them?
Yes, I guess.
These taxes that we are collecting from the citizens, what can we give back to them? And in fairness, some of the things in the economic stabilization plan, these are some of the things they are looking at. I'm talking about this Taiwo Yedele Committee, the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. But the process too has been that they're very slow.
A bit slow. Well, I want to thank you very much, as always, Dr. Muda Yusuf. You come and make these things more understandable to the rest of us, because it's, economists know this. They know this in their sleep, but it oftentimes needs interpretation for we, the citizenry, to also be on the same page. And as always, we appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.
Dr. Yusuf, CEO, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise. Okay, so stay with us, please. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. Let's look at the governorship election in Edo State. The battle has shifted to the tribunal. That's up next.